welcome to the British Fashion Council x Wonderland How to Become series. My name is Toni-Blaze and I'm editor-in-chief of Wonderland magazine, and I'm joined by the gorgeous, to my left or maybe to my right, I'm not sure, gorgeous supermodel Cindy Bruna. Thank you for joining me, Cindy. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, good. I feel like London's kind of opening up a little bit more, so I feel like it's getting a bit better, 100%. I wanted to kind of just, obviously talk about the current time a little bit and just ask, how have you been staying like creative and just like positive during this time?
I'm okay. I'm with my family. I was in New York before the Corona lockdown and try to stay creative, painting and playing piano. I bought a piano when it was my first time playing, but I was just like, let's try. So it was, this 3 months of just, rediscovering myself, I guess, learning about myself and just, being focused on the moment present and enjoying with my family, which was really precious.
And seeing on your Instagram all the family workouts and everything.
Yeah.
It's been like super amazing to see. I think everyone's had a really good time to just reconnect with their families, spend more time with their families, and very impressive on the piano.
I've never played, but I always wanted to learn. So I was like, you know what, I have the time to kill, so I'm just, gonna learn. And it might take me a life to actually learn and be good at it, but it's so good. I love it.
It inspired me now. I might, see what musical skills I have as well. I want to take it back to the, beginning of your journey and just talk about what was it like growing up for you?
So I'm French, but my mother is Congolese and my dad is Italian. I grew up in the south of France. My parents met and got married in Congo, and my sister was born in Congo. And then they moved to the south of France where I was born. And I feel like the south, like growing up in the south of France is just, much peaceful, calm. It's not like Paris or New York. I really see the difference. And, growing up by the beach, so it wasn't that bad.
I love how you talk about, Congolese descent, being from Italian descent as well. What do you love about both cultures?
I mean, I'm biracial. That's who I am, and that's my strength, to learn from it. And I grew up understanding both perspectives. I was raised by my mom with African values around family, respect, sharing, hard work, discipline. And, I grew up eating African dishes, listening to African music. And I also had my dad who shared his love for nature and respect for others. He used to be a beekeeper and a shepherd, and then he moved to Africa where he stayed for 6 years, met my mom. He was the first of his family to marry an African woman. So I feel like he taught me really love and respect for others. And I don't know, all in all, I'm very grateful to have both heritage and my parents as inspiration.
It's definitely such rich cultures to come from. I mean, I love Italian culture too, the food, and then even Congolese culture with the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kofi Olomide, Fally Ipupa, all those like really amazing musicians. I've always loved both cultures, so it must be such an exciting feeling to always just be able to dabble into both. I want to also talk about, do you have any like early memories of fashion as a child?
The thing is that I grew up really far from fashion, to be honest. Like, I didn't even know that modeling was a real job. So I never really dreamed of becoming a model, but I do remember growing up, like watching the L'Oreal commercial and, playing and being in front of my mirror and being like, because I'm worth it. And, this feeling, I feel like that was my first experience as a future model or, in the industry. And yeah, so now it makes sense because I just signed with L'Oreal Paris, which was a dream and which is just incredible. And as a French model and woman and being the new face of such an iconic brand means so much. But yeah, I do remember playing in front of my mirror and being like, because I'm worth it.
I think I did the same thing too with the hairdryer as well. Great memories. And, in terms of just inspirations when you were like looking at models, when you were, younger Cindy, do you have anyone that you kind of looked up to at that time?
I mean, obviously Naomi Campbell. She's the queen, and that's the woman I'm still looking up to in the industry. I also met Azedine Alaya, who really I learned from him. Like I didn't know anything about fashion, and being immersed in the industry and like discovering him as a person and as a brilliant designer really made me appreciate everything in the industry. And the whole idea was so new to me when I started it that I just started to dream. I was like, you know what, I see creative and amazing designers and models, and stylists, photographers, and I was like, oh my God, that's an amazing industry. Like, I just appreciated everything, and I was like, maybe I could do it. So that's how it started, how I started it. It was like, why not? Let's dream. And I was starting to see myself in Paris and becoming a model.
I mean, I feel like that's such a beautiful start, because I love that you mentioned obviously Naomi, because I think she's just a pioneer in our industry and just shows you how important representation is, even at, at your young age. Seeing her and seeing someone that, looks similar to you makes the dream feel even more possible.
When I was scouted in the south of France, I was 16 and I didn't know anything about the industry and also about myself, like I studied with my agent in Paris, and she really saw something in me when I couldn't see it. She believed in me and she really pushed me, and all of this made me be like, oh my God, like maybe why not, I can do it. And then I met Elia and then Stephen Maisel. All these people I've met really build my self-confidence as a model in the industry.
You mentioned you were scouted at 16. I wanted to talk about how was that kind of like basically kind of growing up in the industry in terms of your teenage years, and others. I'm sure you was able to go to the mall and stuff. You probably were having a day off with your friends and then knowing that you need to go and do like shows after or do castings. How was that growing up?
I mean, at 16, I wasn't ready. But it was just during my holidays because my mom wanted me to finish school. So it was, I felt like it was okay. It was just having a step in the industry, but not both of them. Then when I was 18, I really moved to Paris and started going to New York and really working more and more. And I feel like looking back at it, I wasn't even ready at that time, but it's not even about being ready. It's really about, going for it and believing in the process and just, trying your hardest, putting aside your fears, your doubt. And I feel like that's what I did, taking the opportunities. That's really the most important thing. I've learned so much, and I grew up fast because of it, for sure.
Your best interests at heart, which is also so important. Being at that young age in the industry, you need to make sure you kind of align with people that like want you to do well, hopefully don't want to cheat you, but also just have your best interests at heart, which is like the main thing. You mentioned the support of your agents, and it just seems like if anyone's watching this who's a young model too, is always make sure these people around you at that age, of course you have your family and stuff, but make sure they have like your best interests at heart too. Calvin Klein, 2012.
Yes.
First woman of color to walk exclusive for Calvin Klein. Now, that is an accolade in itself. How was that experience for you?
Well, it was an amazing feeling then. Looking back, I don't think I really realized the weight of it. Today, I realized that how much we have to push to bring positive change to the industry, because I was the first one, but in 2012, like, how is it even possible? I think I didn't really realize that it was really important. And I feel like people of all backgrounds deserve representation, both on and off the runway, and every step is really important.
I'd agree with you 100%. And this kind of draws into my next question in terms of, why do you feel that representation with regards to women of color in the industry is so important?
It's about giving future generation confidence in their own beauty and ability. And if the standard of beauty are too narrow, and that there is no inclusion or too little, as they have been in the past, then you're not giving women of color the value they really and truly deserve. And that's what needs to change, for sure. I know it's not done yet, but we can, we see women of colors on runway covers, commercials on TV, or campaigns. So I definitely think things are changing, for sure. But let's not forget that we need to work on set and see many people of color. It's not just about models, it's about designers, stylists, and other people behind the scene. Inclusion is not just about models. It's universal.
I mean, you said that so well. It's so true. It has to be on every single level. When you're hiring people, whether it's magazines, whether it's a team, whether it's even the fashion assistant, it's like everyone must be represented. And even just seeing you L'Oreal ambassador, it warms my heart, because I just feel like so many young girls that look like you or look similar to you will see you in these campaigns and be like, I can do it too. And it's just so nice that that's part of your legacy and your journey. Let's talk about also the infamous, amazing Victoria's Secret's runway. Tell me about that experience.
Victoria's Secret is one of the hardest casting to go through, and it's a show that really gave an important push to my career and to any other careers. Like working this show for 6 years was an incredible experience, and I feel like every year was so incredible. Like we started in New York, then went to London, then New York again. We also went to China, Paris. Like it was just like such a good experience and moment. And during the first season, I was so touched by many models, angels at that time, and they all really makes me feel included and feel being part of the family. I remember Adriana and Lima welcoming the new girls and really making us feel special, and I really admire that so much. And this show has also taught me a lot about self-care, about working out, feeling good in your own skin, taking care of yourself. And that's really what VS taught me, because before that I didn't work out at all. Like I actually hated it, but it really, like obviously you're working in the lingerie, so you want to feel your best version, so I started working out thanks to them, and I really liked it. And I was like, it's not for my body, I look hot anyway, like let's do it for myself to feel good. And I don't know, it was really a good feeling.
L'Oreal ambassador, congratulations, Cindy. So amazing. What did it feel like getting that call?
It felt unreal, to be honest. And it was a goal. Like L'Oreal, as a French woman and models, being the new face of such an iconic brand from my home country, it really means a lot. And as I said earlier, like I really grew up watching the commercial and being inspired by the tagline, I'm worth it, and like saying it out loud, and using it for myself and for others. And I feel like being the new face, I feel like I have a responsibility, because I want to bring more than just my face to this brand, but also my voice. And that's really what is the most important right now. That's how I feel.
Such an amazing opportunity. I know a lot of models having like a beauty contract is like a big goal for them. And I know it's hard to kind of give advice on this. Are there any like kind of tips you could give in terms of any models that kind of want to hopefully one day also follow in your footsteps in terms of a beauty contract of that level?
I mean, this is definitely one of the goals like we have as models, but I don't think there's one path to get it. Personally, I think it's focusing on growing as a person as you continue to work in the industry is really important, because the growth prepare you to the responsibility of being a spokesperson. And that's really what matters.
So as a spokesperson, you also use your platform to talk about like domestic violence issues. Why was that so important to you?
Domestic violence is a crisis and a cause really close to my heart. I feel extremely concerned because it's outrageous, like in France, a woman is killed every 3 days due to killed by her partner or ex-partner, and many more around the globe. And I feel like it is a responsibility to end domestic violence, because we can all be part of the solution. And even if we haven't experienced it ourselves, like we can do something. It's all about calling for help or helping a woman if you see that something is off. It's about reaching out to survivors. It's about donating to organizations that are working tirelessly, but also bringing awareness around us and using our voices and our platform. And that's what I'm trying to do. But it's not just me. Like it's a crisis. It's happening all around the globe. Every societies are touched, and it is a responsibility, and we can act to work to eliminate violence against women. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I want to commend you, because I do feel like sometimes when people have big platforms, they shy away from using the platform when it comes to speaking on issues and stuff. For anyone kind of watching that wants to use their platform and kind of doesn't know how to, like, what kind of advice would you give?
I mean, to have a platform in itself is a privilege, and to use it on important reason and bring attention to some issues is the least I can do and we can do, Today, thanks to social media, we can reach more people and amplify important matters more than ever before. And that's what I think we need to keep in mind. It's a privilege and we need to use it for good, use our voices.
I agree. I feel like this time has really taught all of us that we don't realize how powerful our voices are. And even if it's like it's not even about having maybe 1 million followers or whatever it is. Even your 500, even your 1,000, it can still make a difference.
Because it's not about, how many followers you have. No, it's about, keeping the conversation.
And I want to move it to more advice questions in terms of modeling. So any models that are looking to gain like agency representation, what advice would you give?
It's to find the right agent. I feel like even just one person in your agency who truly believe in you, who's going to work with you, for you, who has the best interest in mind. Yeah, they need to believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
In terms of also just jobs as well, how do you know when a job is like right for you?
To be honest, sometimes I just don't, because managing a career feels like playing chess, sometimes. So I usually have long talks with my agents, and I know they want the best for me.
I think that's so important to say that sometimes you just don't know. It's about collaboration and conversation. And, when you have an agent, you should be able to always have a conversation about what you think is right for you as well. Now, in terms of your job as well, what is one thing you love about your job?
Traveling, for sure, and I miss it right now. Also meeting inspiring people, and being inspired, and meeting talents and artists. This is what I love.
And do you have like a favorite editorial today when you think back?
Everything is just it's just really precious, and every editorials I do remember every editorials I did. My first one was already obviously really special because it was with Steven Maisel, and for the Italian book cover. I didn't speak English at that time, and I was really nervous and so shy. Steven Maisel really changed my life, by choosing me. That's what I keep. Like, this is so precious. But I've worked for so many editorials and photographers that I really feel like each of them are so unique and important in my career.
Wonderland cover as well. I'm going to chuck that in there as one of your editorials that I love, because obviously we worked together on that one. I'm going to cheekily say that. And, there's this misconception with models sometimes that all you guys do is, you just rock up to the shoot, you get to wear the clothes, and you go home, and this is just fabulous life, and there's no stress and all these things. Pre-quarantine, and what is like a day in the life for you, or like a week or even a month?
I mean, the thing is that with modeling, like a day never looked the same. Like, there is like fashion week where it's more about doing castings, fittings, and shows, and then event at night. Like, it's a really intense month where we're traveling from New York to London to Milan to Paris, and then there is the rest of the year when we shoot campaigns and editorials. So it never really looked the same, but it's not an easy job, because we see the glam and we see what we show on social media, but it's hard work, and it's all about also having a good lifestyle. Like, I work out and try to stay healthy. Like, it's a lot of traveling and being by yourself, but I personally love it. But
even with styling with me, like, people think it's like you just go to this magical room and choose the dress, and then you're like, bye, and then you go off and style it. But there's also like a lot of work too. And just for lastly, for any models that are watching, younger models that want to get into the industry and form a career in the industry, what advice would you give them?
About an editorial, I think as a model we need to learn to listen and be attentive to what the photographer is telling you, what he or she wants, how he wants you to move. It's not about being self-observant and feel the clothes and the way you move, like just the feeling. I think it's about having a great connection with the photographer and the team. It's really the key for a great shooting. But at the same time, I don't want to see models do something they're not comfortable with. So if you feel like something is off, if you feel like you don't want to do it, just don't call your agent, leave the set. Like, you are free to do anything you want. So it's about you. But usually, and that's what I experienced, I always had great photographers, great team behind me, and great agents who really always wanted the best for me. So I always had that connection that I felt like I was safe. That's really what I wish for every woman in models.
Two key points of advice: listen, be attentive, but also speak up. I think it's so true. Know that your voice is never dimmed, and you are there to obviously do the best job, but also to feel safe at the same time. Also, like a partnership as well. So I want to kind of talk about more partnerships, and now partnerships in terms of walking. I mean, you've done so many Jean Paul Gaultier shows, it's unreal. Tell me about walking the last ever runway.
It was just so sad, but at the same time, I was so happy. And, it was such an incredible and major show. The set, everything was just wow. Like, he killed the game. Like, he literally stole Paris Fashion Week. He's such a genius and an incredible human being. Like, I just love him. And he was the first one also to choose me in Paris. And I've worked this show since my first season. So it really meant a lot for me to be there with him on the catwalk. And it was a major show.
I mean, he definitely is such a pioneer in fashion, such a legend. It's like his archive shows and just looking at his body of work. So it must have been such an amazing experience. London Fashion Week. Obviously we can't have a London Fashion Week physically, but we are doing it digitally here on this platform. And I just wanted to talk about what you love about London Fashion Week and British designers as well.
Yeah, I love Fashion Weeks like all over the world. But what I really love about London is the level of creativity and the freedom that British designers have. A lot of British designers, they really bring their creativity to an international audience. And that's really what I love. You can see Vivienne Westwood show in Paris, the balance between commercial and creativity, also with British designers. I'm also obsessed with seeing, Victoria Beckham show in New York, Oswald Boateng in New York. I also love Riccardo Tisci being in London and in such an iconic British brand, which is Burberry, I love the fact that he keeps the British spirit and the DNA of the brand, but at the same time, he's bringing him. And that's what I love about fashion, is seeing Italian designers in London, seeing London designers in Paris, and that's fashion. It's diverse and it's international, and it's about bringing you to and your creativity to an international audience. I also love young designers, and I feel like they really champion in creativity, such as Richard Malone and Ashley Williams. They're just great. I don't know how they do this. It's just amazing to actually see the shows, and I get inspired by them.
I agree. I think London is just such a creative hub. Like, it's just all the creativity is just always brewing. When you mentioned Malone, you mentioned Ashley Williams, such great name to talk about. Westwood showing in Paris, Riccardo Tisci coming over to London and showing in London through a British brand. That London energy, you get that rawness, you get that, like you said, the balance of creativity and commercial, which you can't really find anywhere else. How do you feel like the future of like fashion shows will be?
Fashion show will continue to evolve and become even more accessible and meaningful. And I really, really hope the fashion industry will also learn and grow from this challenging time we're going through right now and come out of it stronger. The main focus is creativity, because sometimes rushing out from Fashion Week to another one and to another season make us, lose some perspective. So it is really important to focus on what really matters and to think about the world we live in, and inclusion, ecological part. Everything is connected, and I think we need to work towards that.
What you said is so important and so true. Brands are now going to be held accountable for the integrity and what they stand for. And like you said, it is taking it back to creativity and, not having the pressure of designers having to do 8 or however how many seasons it was. You ask yourself, when is the time to even enjoy like designing and enjoy the moment? And I think we are definitely going to get back to enjoying creativity, but also leading with integrity too. In terms of just also modeling, where do you see like the modeling industry going?
I mean, I think the future of modeling is something we can never predict, but for sure, as we reopen, we will all have a new appreciation of this job and the people we work closely with. That's what we're gonna keep, I hope we'll continue to have a spirit of collaboration so that we can create together and continue to inspire.
I agree. I think collaboration is just so important. But I also think the future is more like, I feel like even with your example of L'Oreal and being an ambassador and also talking about domestic violence, like you are also using your voice, and I think more and more models are going to start using their voices for causes they believe in. Of course, people do already, but I think we're going to even shift to that even more. Even you as an example, example, just a beautiful example of someone obviously using their platform as a model for just the greater good and for the world, which is just so, so lovely to talk about. Yeah, collaboration is definitely going to always be a collaborative industry, which I always enjoy collaborating with you or any, models, photographers, brands and everything. In terms of collaborations, now I know you did a collaboration with Majestic Filatures. Tell me about that collaboration.
I started doing shooting the campaign for few seasons before with Gilles Ben Simon, a photographer that I really, really love. I just enjoy working with them, and I love the identity of the brand, loved it. So when they asked me to do a capsule and a collab with them, I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And it was really interesting to see the process, which I didn't know about. I've learned a lot also with them, and it was all about like choosing the colors, fabrics, and all of this, which I really had no idea, and drawing. So I was doing, my little sketch and like drawing some clothing, and it was amazing to create with them. And that's really, really what I love. And it was an amazing adventure together.
Would you want to do like more collaborations as well?
Why not? I actually enjoyed it so much that I'm definitely down for another one.
Well, we'll be waiting, girl. We'll definitely be waiting for more collabs you do. What kind of advice would you give in terms of this current climate that we're living in, how they can maybe build their books or just little things like that? Models that pre all of this wanted to jump into the industry and start working and find an agent, build their books and stuff. But what advice would you give for any models that maybe kind of feel kind of like, oh, what's the point? Should I even start? What advice could you give for these young models?
The advice I would give to a young model is actually the same I will give to myself, is to not worry, to not be scared. Even if we are in a really uncertain time, take care of yourself and your well-being. And it's all about, gaining an even stronger understanding of the world, growing more as a human, enjoying each opportunity to the fullest and just going for it. The industry will evolve, will go out of it stronger, and we're not done yet, So get in the industry and just, kill it. It's good.
No, I love what you said about even just thinking about yourself first before jumping into the industries. This is a good time to kind of build, self-esteem, also to build just love yourself, and like you said, enjoy these moments and be positive. And once the industry readapts and changes and is ready for you and you jump in, you'll be welcomed. And lastly, I want to just talk about maybe a bigger question, just in terms of hopes for your career. What do you hope for your career and your legacy?
For the future, it's just not about just my career, but also about me as a person, as a woman. And I really want, and I hope I can continue to use my voice to help and support important causes. I really want to bring more than just my face to the L'Oreal company, and also my voice and what I believe in. I really want it to be, a partnership, a collaboration between us. And I want to grow as a person, and I want to keep enjoying my job. And having dreams. I want to keep dreaming.
I think that's such a lovely thing to touch upon in terms of using your voice and that collaborative platform that you have. Because I think a lot of people watching this who may have not used their voice before will definitely be inspired to. I mean, I'm even inspired to even hold myself accountable in sort of how I'm using my voice. So, and I think it's just a lovely way to see your career going in terms of the future of it, the legacy of it. Because, when we use our voices, as you can see during this current climate, a lot is changing. I've enjoyed so much talking to you, Cindy. You've been such an angel, like I'm saying in my clouds. You've been such an angelic person to talk to. And it's been lovely to talk about your journey. And I do feel like anyone watching this in terms of models and just anyone in general is going to get some good advice and just some feel good in terms of just the industry and your journey too. And we are so excited for any more collaborations you've got coming up next, what you do with L'Oreal and your journey and just everything in general. And you're a previous Wonderland Cindy Bruna cover star babe, so of course we're super excited. But thank you so much for joining me on the British Fashion Council X Wonderland How to Become series. I've been Toni-Blaze Beckwith, editor-in-chief of Wonderland magazine, and I'm going to leave you to enjoy your gorgeous day and send you some kisses from London as well. Thank you, Cindy.